Tonight on Lifesavers, a firework sparks a major emergency. Her dress is on fire. Plus advice on how to stay safe on firework night. And the father and son whose fishing trip ends in deep trouble. The water's up to their necks and still rising.
November the 5th is always bonfire night, and with less than a week to go, preparations are being made at fireworks displays like this one all over the country. But there's another festival in which fireworks also play an important part that takes place around this time, though the actual date varies from year to year. It's called Diwali, and it's celebrated by the Hindu community.
Diwali is the Hindu equivalent of Christmas. It marks the beginning of the Hindu New Year. Families get together to pray, decorate their houses with lights, and often end the day with a firework display. For the Tidal family from Essex, 1995's Diwali was a time they'll never forget.
I've learned my lesson, something I never thought would happen to my child, but it has happened.
Even the most minor injuries can lead to a badly scarred individual, and that will last the rest of that kid's life.
The girl, Artie, is almost the same age as my daughter, so, obviously it did register quite strongly with me that could easily have been my child or anybody's child, really.
7-year-old Artie Sidar and her family are played here by actors. After a shopping trip that day, the family were getting ready to visit their aunt.
Artie? It's not that cold.
We planned to go into my sister-in-law's house. I said to her, look, this is going to be too warm for it today. You're going to be very hot. How about changing?
All right, Mum.
I wish I never did tell her to change, really.
I know what I should wear.
Every time a flame burn is involved, it's not just the flame burn itself, there's also the clothing.
Oh, that's nice. What made you choose that?
It was the nicest dress in the wardrobe, so I chose it.
Good. Let me do it up for you.
People will go out to buy a fashionable product, and they don't actually think what sort of risks they may well be putting themselves into.
Can we play with these? Can we?
Okay.
Yeah!
My sister-in-law, Geeta, wanted to do the sparklers with the children.
They'll be all right.
I was inside because I suffer with a lot of abdominal pains in my stomach. In our culture, we've always been brought up with fireworks from very young round. I never ever thought a sparkler would be dangerous.
That's for the used sparklers, okay?
Geeta was with the kids and my elder daughter was there and other children. They were just having a good time, really. Geeta only came in when her daughter was feeling a bit tired. I just went into the kitchen for a couple of minutes, and a couple of minutes later the door slammed because the wind was building up.
I was coming home from work and calling at the childminders to pick up my 2 children when I noticed laughter mixed with screaming and like screams that children when they're having fun. I could see sort of out of the corner of my eye about 4 doors down, kind of flashing and flickering of sparklers.
I heard someone's knocking at the door. I could hear Artie shouting at Mummy, Mummy. I just screamed and rushed to her. I couldn't get her dress open or torn because of the wind blowing. It was spreading.
Then I knew certainly there was something wrong. There was something different about the light and the sound of the children screaming. But I didn't fully appreciate that I was going to see someone on fire. As I was running, I was actually taking my coat off.
Lie down!
He shouted across to me, roll her on the floor, but she wouldn't let me do that.
I then wrapped the coat around her and just upended her really and just lay her down on the ground.
You take off whatever you can and you just jump on top of it. A flame starved of oxygen will not continue to burn.
She was very calm, very calm. Geeta went to the phone and rang for the ambulance, and they instructed us what to do till they got there. They instructed us put some water, dapper water, wet towel on her. do not remove her clothing, just in case it's stuck to her skin.
You release a natural substance called endorphins. Your brain then tells itself it's not as painful as it is.
I'm okay, Mum. Do I have to go to school tomorrow?
When I heard that, I just pulled myself together. Hang on a minute, she's fine. She's talking to you, she's normal, but not realising that she had really been burned seriously underneath the clothing.
Hardy, listen with the ambulance people, all right?
It's numb, so that the deeper the burn, the less the pain. The more superficial burn, the more the pain.
Make you feel more comfortable, okay? You just breathe normally. You're very brave, well done. How old are you?
Oh, 7.
7.
The paramedics prepared Artie for the 5-minute journey to hospital.
I don't think anybody really even spoke to each other afterwards. We all just sort of evaporated into the dark. I didn't really even feel like talking about it at all. I just wanted to go home, really. And it was only when I got home that I sort of sat down and I actually thought, you know, then I was quite upset then afterwards, you know.
We went to 2 hospitals. The first one was the King George one, local to us.
Promise you won't leave me. Promise you won't go away.
I promise. I promise.
I said, yes, Artie, I'll be with you all the time.
Heather, I'm just going to get rid of this dress as quick as I can.
That's when I saw the burns, and it was a shock. They said, look, we can't deal with her here because we reckon it's 50% burns, and we would have to take her to Billericay Hospital, which is a special burns unit.
7-year-old. She suffered firework burns.
Artie's a big and very difficult burn. She was over 30% body surface area, involved groin, legs. It's a pretty nasty burn.
After 5-10 minutes, the doctor came out to see me and said, I have to tell you this, but she might not pull through because she's severely burnt. And the next 24 hours are critical.
We knew these burns were going to get infected, so we had to get these burns off. If you don't remove that dead tissue fairly early, then your risks of infection are much higher. Still pretty deep, isn't it? Proportion.
Then the doctor came and she said, look, she's much comfortable now. You can stay. We'll see her in the morning again, how she goes through. She knew what had happened to her, but I think she still didn't realise how severe it was. But I was with her all that time. I think she was in there for 7.5 weeks, and I was in there day in and day and night, staying with her, by her as I promised her.
Right, just taking these off, but we'll leave this.
The trouble isn't just in creating that clean surgical wound, you then got to cover it.
You'll be all right.
Probably the best area is to take skin from the legs. You have to take skin from the same site more than once, anything up to 3, 4, 5, 6 times maybe. And every time you do it, more often than not, it's more painful than the original burn itself.
Thank you. Sure. Towards the end, we'll need some blood.
It's nearly 2 years of treatment that she's been through, you know, and it must be miserable having to go on and on with all these treatments. And she still seems to be such a cheerful child, you know. It's amazing, really.
Yeah. Well, if we have a look at your photos, Artie, you've seen these before, haven't you now? And you see we're trying to release all of these sort of tight scars that you've got in there. You're actually walking a lot better. There's no more pain there now, is there?
She's still the same brave girl. She's still a very determined child. And I think that's what pulled her through.
Sparklers are great fun, but don't kid yourself that they're harmless, because they're certainly not.
When I was going, look what we can do, and just got my dress. I'm banging on the door really badly and calling my mum. She was like shocked. She like trying to open my zip, and then the man told me to roll over, so I rolled over, and then the fire came off.
He was like an angel from heaven, really. Come from somewhere to save Artie. He's our hero. Our hero we'll never forget in our lives.
Artie might not have survived but for the prompt action of Richard Hills. If you were ever to find yourself on fire, then remember, stop, drop, wrap, roll. Stop what you're doing. Drop to the ground, wrap yourself in a coat or a blanket, and roll on the ground to put the flames out. Last year in this country, more than 1,200 people were injured by fireworks, nearly 200 of them by sparklers. The Department of Trade and Industry has this advice on fireworks safety.
Always buy fireworks with the British Standard mark on them, and keep all fireworks, including sparklers, in a closed box stored in a cool, dry place. Larger rockets should be kept in a garden shed or a dustbin with the lid on and brought out one at a time for the display. It's safer to prepare your display in daylight. At night you'll need a torch to see what you're doing. Never use a naked flame. And never carry fireworks in your pocket. A stray spark could set them off, and once alight they're almost impossible to put out. Read the instructions carefully as you set up your display and again before letting them off. A minimum safe area of 5 metres is needed, but boxes marked display fireworks contain fireworks that must be let off 25 metres away from the audience. Most gardens aren't big enough. One adult should be in charge, and they should resist the temptation to drink alcohol before the display. It's much safer to wait until the display is over. Remember, animals are frightened by fireworks, so keep pets inside. As with all fireworks, only light sparklers outside. Wear gloves and use a long taper to light them one at a time. 3 sparklers held together generate as much heat as a blowtorch. Hold sparklers at arm's length to keep them away from clothing and from other people. Make sure there's an adult to supervise children over 5. Never give sparklers to children under 5. Many injuries are caused by grabbing the hot end of the sparkler when it's burnt out, so be careful and place used sparklers in a bucket of cold water. If any fireworks fail to go off, don't go back to them. It's not worth the risk. Instead, leave them for at least 15 minutes, then douse them and put them in a bucket of cold water overnight. Most firework accidents happen at home in people's gardens, but if you follow these basic rules, you should have a safe bonfire night. Blackpool attracts millions of tourists every year. Last year, 17 million people came here to see the sights. And thanks to the efficiency of local rescue teams, the Golden Mile has very few casualties. But as the rides get bigger, Lancashire County Fire Brigade face a problem. If something goes wrong at the top of a ride, their ladders just aren't long enough. 3 years ago, they formed a specialist rope rescue team, and each year volunteers learn mountaineering skills. I'm here at St Anne's Fire Station in Blackpool to follow an intensive rope rescue course for volunteers. This year, 7 firefighters, all novice climbers, have volunteered to learn the ropes. If all goes well over the next 5 days, they'll carry out a full-scale mock rescue from the top of Blackpool Tower.
When they first start the course, there's a bit of apprehension because of the amount of equipment they're faced with. But as we go through the week, we build the equipment up using different pieces on each day, and eventually by the time we come to Friday, they've got most of the equipment on the belts.
First, they practice basic techniques on the wall surrounding a Blackpool leisure complex.
The confidence definitely improves throughout the week. You can see it from day 1, they're not sure at all, whereas on day 3, they're starting to get more enthusiastic about the whole thing.
They're also beginning to look more like climbers than firemen.
I think what makes a good rope rescue team is that teamwork and a lot of communication between yourselves and what's going on the ground, and to people who actually on the ropes themselves so they know what's going on.
But on day 3, what should have been a simple abseil exercise raises doubts about the confidence of one of the recruits, recently qualified firefighter Steve Mitchell.
I think we're going to have a problem in the first place anyway with him. I don't think, to be quite honest with you, I don't think Dennis is going to pass him anyway.
We've had several failures for all sorts of different reasons. Things do get fairly hairy at certain heights.
The day before the tower, Steve's still lacking in confidence.
Very nervous, yeah. I feel I will do it, but we'll just have to see tomorrow, won't we?
It's a bit high up, is it?
On Friday morning, the men must pass a final test set by expert climber Dennis Kirkham before being allowed on the tower.
Can you explain why you've taken that off? You've struggled on there, haven't you, a bit?
Yeah.
I can't really say that you can take any further part at the moment. All right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Steve didn't make the grade this time and returned to normal duties. 385 feet up Blackpool Tower is where the real test begins, putting everything they've learned over the past week into practice.
It's a lot of belief in Tony and Peter, trust them.
Martin Ball has drawn the short straw. He's going down in the stretcher.
I'm a bit apprehensive since I've been chosen to go in the stretcher.
The experience in the stretchers, it's quite a daunting experience, to be honest. You're strapped in, you've no control over your own destiny.
Part of the course is the height and exposure on Blackpool Tower. The kit is used exactly as we've been using it for the week, and it's a very simple abseil from the top to the middle with a stretcher or whatever. The same disciplines we've been using all week, however, the only difference is the height and the exposure of the tower itself.
Now this is where the fun part begins, if you can call it fun. Having painstakingly climbed down through the tower, they're now going to abseil all the way down to the bottom.
The feeling amongst those after they've completed the tower is one of total euphoria. They're very excited, they really want to get up and do it again because it is a good feeling to be able to travel through a structure at speed and height on ropes.
You enjoyed it? I actually enjoyed it. Yeah. Oh, terra firma.
If someone is having a heart attack, they'll complain of chest pains, which won't go away. These pains might spread to their arms, their jaw and their back.
They may look pale and sweaty, have cold, clammy skin,
and may also be short of breath.
Dial 999 straight away.
And so you think it's a heart attack.
Sit them down so they're comfortable.
And undo any tight clothing. Finally, don't let them have anything to eat or drink.
We're all familiar with the RNLI and the tremendous work that these guys do, but you may not know there are also a lot of small independent lifeboats that are supported entirely by fundraising in their local communities. Last April, it was one of these local boats that was to prove the only chance of survival for a keen fisherman called Hank van Doorn and his son Hendrik. And by a strange coincidence, their lives were to end up in the hands of another team of father and son.
Lifeboats are often called out to help fishermen in distress. In fact, anglers account for 10% of the people who drown each year in the UK. But when Hank and Hendrik set off for the tidal marshes near their home in South Wales, they were confident there was no cause for concern. Hank and Hendrik are played here by actors.
The riverbed and the actual channel moves constantly. The sand is constantly shifting. The dangers have been there for many, many years and are still very apparent.
I didn't really think the water could have come in so quick and covered so much.
I should have checked the tide myself, but I never did. I took somebody else's verse for it that it would be a low tide.
Hendrik!
I'm from Amsterdam. I like living in Kut Valley, but it is so close to the sea and the people are absolutely fantastic.
Have you got the bait and the hooks?
Yeah, there's really a lot of fun around here.
I think if the weather holds up, we get good fishing today, yeah?
Me and my dad get on really well.
Come on!
Well, more like brothers and father and son. We talk, we chat, we just go out fishing.
Yeah.
We have a really good time together.
How do you expect to catch a fish when you can't even swim yourself, eh?
He seems to me more laid back than my friend's fathers. He's just totally mad compared to everybody else.
You always go out an hour or two before the tide is actually coming in. So we can set everything up and then relax and then wait for the tide to come in. What the best time for fishing is when the tide is coming in.
Right to the end, right to the end! Go on, keep going. It's okay.
It's relaxing. You don't have to worry about nothing else.
Hendrik! Okay? Yeah, Dad.
It's just peace. No one had to bother you at all. You start fishing as the tide come in, And then we stay there for like 4.5 hours before the tide turns, and then we walk back after the tide had turned. But it didn't seem to happen that way.
Dad! Dad! The water's still rising! Don't worry! Tide'll turn soon.
I didn't expect it to get it any higher than knee height, but the tide kept rising.
Hank was convinced the tide would turn at any moment, but what he didn't realise was that they were fishing on the day of the highest tide of the year. They soon found themselves trapped on the sandbank, cut off by deep channels of fast-flowing water. If they tried to wade back to shore, Hank was afraid they'd fall into one of the channels and drown.
I started worrying when it got just over my waist, and it kept on rising. I thought, there's no way I'm getting out of this now.
What are we going to do?
I had to shout to Hendrik to come over to me.
No!
He was very reluctant to do so. I told him he had to come up to me because he got swept away on his own.
That's okay. Hold on tight. It'll be okay. It's all right.
I don't think Hendrik can swim more than 50 yards. That's the reason I'm really worried about it.
I said, what should we do now? And he said, well, there's nothing we can do. The channels are all filled in. There's no way we'll cross the channels. If we step down, the water's going to be well over our head. And the current will take us even further away. So we just stood there, and the tide kept on coming in. I thought if it keeps rising now, there's no chance of me surviving.
Look at him. Wait to him. Hey! Hey!
A jet ski went flying past, and I thought, well, this one could come over to us now, and we could hold on to either side of the jet ski, and he could drag us up towards the quay. But he just kept on going back and forth in front of us, and I was waving and screaming at him, and he just waved back and went flying past towards the quay.
Help! Listen. Help! Hendrik, take your rod. Take your rod and do what I do.
I told Hendrik to grab hold of his rod and to slap his rod down into the ground.
And drive it into the mud. Watch me. Like this. Drive it down.
I put the rod in the mud as far as I could, and he said, put your foot against this to stop us from drifting. And then I clung on to him.
Hank and Hendrik were 1/4 mile from dry land and had been in the water for more than 2 hours when a passer-by heard their cries for help and spotted them in the water.
Hey! Hang on, I'll get help! Hang on!
And they said there's help coming, but I was sitting there looking around, well, standing, looking around, and couldn't see no one there. So I thought, they're messing around.
Hello? Hello? Have you got a mobile phone? No, I haven't. We need the Coast Guard urgently. There's 2 people trapped in the mud. The water is up to their necks.
The house on the bottom of the lane?
Yes, you're right. He's got one, hasn't he?
Yeah. I'll wait here.
In a desperate effort to save them from drowning, Hank inflated his plastic bait bag to try and give them more buoyancy.
Hold on tight to the rods. There. There. Hold the bag.
At one point, I started going frantic.
You okay? It's okay. The tide is turning.
Dad said he slapped me.
Hendrik, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. It's gonna be okay.
I never slapped him before, but I had to in this distance.
Do what I told you to do with the rods.
It's just started getting colder, and I couldn't feel the lower part of my body. It's never anything I've ever experienced before. I thought I would experience cold in the snow and all that, but it's nothing. It's like being in a freezer.
It was early evening when the Swansea Coast Guard received the 999 call. They then had to alert the 3 lifeboatmen who man the inshore rescue service.
It's a family commitment in that everybody has to be on the ball, hopefully knowing where I am, and in this case where my son Daniel is as a member of the crew as well.
I was sitting at home, doing my homework in the kitchen. Dad was sleeping in the other room when the phone rang. Hello? It was the coxswain of the lifeboat telling me there was a call out and to meet him down the boat shed as soon as possible.
Once the information got through to my sleeping ears, then we were up and away.
All we knew was that 2 people had been caught by the tide, and in a situation like that you can't take anything coolly because of the very fast tides and currents in this area. It's one of the fastest tides in the world. Sod's law, as you might say, we got down to the level crossing, and then the barriers came down to stop us going through because the train was coming through.
We ran out of the car and had to run over the railway bridge, and then we were able to get to the lifeboat station.
This was my first real rescue. You're trying hard to think straight, but all you can think about is, what do I do, what do I do? Everything's a mad rush around your head.
Gwendryth Estuary is a large area. It contains a lot of marshland. Because of the nature of the sandbanks and their undulations, then it's very, very easy to get cut off.
Swansea Coast Guard, Swansea Coast Guard. This is Ferryside IRB.
I contacted the Coast Guards by radio and asked for more information.
Kidwelly Quay.
The magic words were Kidwelly Quay. We knew where we were heading then.
Straight, okay? Eddie, something in the water. Right-hand side. Yeah, that looks like heads. Yeah. No, that's not it. That's buoys. No, buoys and debris. No good.
We started heading off towards another something in the water. We couldn't see what it was. It wasn't until we got within 50 yards that we could see it was actually two heads instead of debris like the first lot.
Yes, Ed, that's them.
I really thought I was going to die before that point. Then I seen the boat come in and I was really, really happy.
Hold on, don't let go of anything. Hold your rods, wait till we touch you.
I couldn't believe when I first saw them. They were shaking so vigorously and so violently. I'd never seen anything like it before.
Now take his rod.
We were both stunned by the look of their faces. They were so cold. There was no look of relief. There was no change of facial expression. They were absolutely frozen solid in the water.
We're going to make Dad warm. We're going to do the same for you.
I almost felt guilty and helpless at the same time because I was so warm and they were so cold. And I just wanted them to get warmer and warmer and stop shaking.
Okay, let's get him covered.
They were suffering, obviously, from hypothermia. Another 10 to 15 minutes could have been critical, and there could have been a very different end to the scenario.
They were inquiring about each other all of the time. We kept reassuring them and telling them each other was going to be okay.
When they reached the quayside, to save vital minutes, Hank and Hendrik were taken by the Coast Guards to meet the ambulance. They spent 2 days in hospital recovering from their ordeal.
I believe the rods shoved into the sand and the mud, certainly that had given them some support. The fact that they had held on to the plastic bag, which obviously afforded them some degree of buoyancy and stability, if they'd not clung closely together, they may have lost more heat. Therefore, the hypothermia could have taken over. They might not have had the will to stay afloat. They actually could have gone under.
Yeah, I think the experience has brought me more closer to my dad. I think I trust him a lot more than I did before, since he told me what to do and how to do it, and he was right. That's the thing that got me, he was right in the long run.
What I've learned from this experience is never take somebody else's word for the tides. Always check yourself. When you can't play around with water.
Next week on Lifesavers, the young man caught in an explosion of his own making, plus the fatal addiction that kills 11 times more teenagers than ecstasy. You can find more information about the subjects featured on Lifesavers by visiting the 999 website at www.bbc.co.uk/education. There's also information about future programmes, a glimpse behind the scenes at how the programme is put together, and a special Lifesavers quiz that allows you to test your first aid knowledge.